Today I welcome Alexander Isora on the show, so thanks for accepting my invitation.
Thanks for having me.
And so Alexander, if you should resume your path as a maker in 2-3 minutes, so you will resume this.
My path as a maker began when I was a kid, and nothing changed since then. I was selling newspapers. That was my very first business. Now I am selling software. So it was like my startup path began very early. Has always been feeling like I want to make something for myself. And a regular job was never an option.
Okay. And so how many projects until now have you done? For example, give me a bit of a list of things.
My maker's experience is quite short. My very first SaaS was successful. It's unicorn platform, landing page builder, which I sold in 2022 for 800K. Before that, I have made a couple of projects which were not SaaS, but something very relevant. We were making HTML themes with my friend, WordPress themes for sale. It was much easier to make, but much harder to sell. We were making like 20K grand per year with those themes. It wasn't too much, but for two young persons who has no financial dependence, no family, it was quite enough.
Yeah.
And then I decided to make a SaaS. It was my first SaaS. It was my first single page application in my life. I acted like a solo founder, so I did it all by myself. I did coding, I did marketing, I did the product, the design, and it turned well. Then I sold it. Now I'm making another SaaS, two of them actually.
Yeah.
What's
the name of both?
Yeah, the first one is called Paracast. It's like paranormal and cast. It generates video for startups. I decided to make a simple Canva for startups. Canva is a social media creatives editing tool. It's very simple, but it's so broad that it's for everybody. I don't like tools that serve everybody. I like niched down tools. If you're a startup founder or marketer, you sign up for Canva and you can find a template to promote your SaaS or startup, but it will be super generic. It will look awkward. It will suit everybody's needs, not only startups, but also, for example, barber shops. It's something, general, so generic. It's not cool. It's not sexy. It's not selling. One word, it's not selling. So I'm a big fan of niched down things when people create SaaS for a small audience and serve it really, really well. This is what I'm making right now. The second tool is out of my focus right now, but I will pay more attention since next month. It's called CopyBrain. It's a tool for making written content with AI. So it's an AI writing assistant. It sounds so cliche.
Yeah.
This is why I called it CopyBrain, not Twitter generator or blog post generator, because it sounds lame. And my idea is to create your second brain to assist you, not create a post. It's not a content generator tool. It's an assistant tool. And it will upload your brain into the cloud. You will have to pass a huge interview. You will have to send links to all your past blog posts, interviews like this one. And it will parse everything, your past, then create a neuro person based on this data. It will be second you, your second brain. And then you will be able to ask it to help you with writing tasks for your marketing routine. For example, tweets, generating blog posts, generating LinkedIn posts. Every post has its own, specificity. If you make a tweet, it's one. type of post. If you make a blog post, it's another. If you make a post on LinkedIn, it's different from what you see on Twitter, because people on LinkedIn want to feel like they know more than you. So when you post something, you don't have to look like an all-knowing god with a huge brain. You have to look a little bit weak. You have to be a little bit wrong. So people will reply to you and say, hey, you're wrong. This is how it is. And you get engagement, you know? And there are a lot of such little details which you have to manage. And this second brain will be able to do it for you. This is the second SaaS which I'm working right now.
Okay, that's interesting. So both of things, like you were having a problem and you fixing it for yourself, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question coming back to what you shared at the beginning. You say like when you were a kid, you started like selling newspapers, and it was like your kind of gigs. But what made you, because I suppose like when you were selling newspapers, your friends were playing around or doing something else. What made you wanted to do that?
Just, you know, when you do what you really want, it feels so natural, like walking or jumping or talking, and selling newspapers felt as natural to me as walking or jumping or talking. It just was so obvious, an obvious thing to do. So I did.
Okay. That's an interesting. Oh, I don't know to talk anymore. An interesting point. Like, do you believe you born entrepreneur or you become entrepreneur for you?
In my case, I was born. I always felt this passion in doing something, solving problems around, in looking at possibilities and opportunities, what can be do better, what can be fixed, you know. But I believe also that people can become entrepreneur, and it's a skill which can be trained. I believe in the both ways of becoming an entrepreneur.
I do agree with you. I agree, like you can learn that, or you have this fiber inside you, but it doesn't mean you have this fiber, you will be successful. You still have to work on it. It's like anything. But some people, like I have seen that, like in the podcast, like some people start very early their journey to sell stuff. You know, the same as you. When I was a kid, I started to sell stuff. Like I put like I asked my mom to buy like MP3 sticks, and I was downloading illegally music in it, putting music and sell it like with the music already, because people didn't know how to download the musics. See, until someone told me at the school, this is illegal to do that, but I didn't know. And you have always like tiny story like I lack from people, like often like some entrepreneurs, they start very early, they join it sometimes with things that even not really a good business to do, like mine, but everyone has these tiny stories like that. Like for example, your newspaper. And I found this is like so much showing like what you wanted, you know, at the beginning and what you wanted to do. And for me, it makes a lot of sense to talk about that, because like many people listening to the podcast, sometimes they have different reasons for becoming entrepreneur. And I think this is always interesting to understand what was the reason of the people who come in the podcast. To help other people who listen to also know their own reason, you know, what they want to do things. And for me, it's like you, I do want to improve life of people. I want to bring people something with my craft. And that's lead me to everything I do right now. I have a question about like, because you were like at the beginning, okay, doing newspapers is kind of general like knowledge and stuff, but then you started to do like HTML team and WordPress team. So how did you learn coding? Like who brought you into this development world?
Yeah, that's easy. When you do a lot of things, then you're interested and you're active. You see a lot of stuff and you try a lot of stuff. When you try a lot of stuff, you find something interesting and go full bet on this. So my story starts when I was at the university. I was living in a dorm and I needed money to buy food because students are poor. We need money. And I tried to work
Most of them,
in a regular job. Yeah, not all. Maybe some rich guys, I don't know. Anyway, I tried to work in a regular job. It was a job when you knock on door to strangers, they open the door
Yeah.
and you ask them to buy your internet connection, home internet, and they don't need it because they already have some kind of internet. They are angry because you come at night. They are chilling, relaxing, and you knocking on the door. That's strange. And it was my perhaps worst 2 weeks in my life when I realized that regular job sucks, at least for me. I didn't like it. So I left it, but I still needed money. So I had like $100 from this internet stuff, and I bought fake surveillance cameras from AliExpress. It's a Chinese Amazon. Fake cameras. It looks like a regular camera. You can see it on the streets when you walk on the streets in big cities or in countries like China. We have a lot of surveillance cameras, and these cameras are used by shops. If you open a shop, you want to be some kind of secured.
To protect yourself.
To protect from thieves. But if you have a very small shop with a low budget, you don't have money for the whole system because the system is quite complicated. It's not only cameras, it's also wires, it's also servers which store the data, a lot of data, because video is a lot of data. You have to maintain it somehow, and small shops don't have money for that, and they bought my small cameras which only had one electronic part. It's a blinking light, so it blinks and it looks like real. So it scares off some marginal people, some thieves, non-serious, often teenagers who need some cash to buy drugs, this kind of stuff. And it costs like 100 times cheaper because it's just a piece of plastic, not a huge system with servers. So people was buying that, and I thought to myself that I need some kind of an internet place, site, whatever that is. So I started to learn. I found out about WordPress. Then I need to make a change in my WordPress theme. I had to learn some HTML, then some PHP, and so on. This is how I became an internet web developer guy. So I am here. So it started with AliExpress, China, Langley.
Okay, that's very cool. Path. Like I really like how things like evolve naturally, and because when you were kids at the time, you couldn't predict where you are right now. Definitely, like you are doing like tiny jobs, and like probably I don't know what you were doing in school at this time. What you were studying?
I was studying electro energy plants.
Yeah. So you were like not totally going the direction of internet business. And I love this where you cannot predict your future and you cannot see anything like coming, and you just do things naturally because you felt you have a need, and you didn't think like most of people are like, oh, I don't know what to do, for example, a website, so I stop. But you were like, okay, I have a problem, I will just learn for it, and that will happen. And that's, for me, that's the beauty of these things. Like the entrepreneur mindset is this kind of thing where you just like keep learning for doing things better and
keep finding problems to solve.
Yes.
Or creating problems.
Yes. Yes. You know, that's funny you say that. Like my mom was saying that when I was kids. She was like, if you find something broken, you fix it. And if it's not broken, you break it to understand how it works.
That's a great mindset, I must say. Yeah, I like it.
Well, she was happy from the first side, not the second side. That's very funny.
I lost you first.
Okay, so yeah, what you were saying?
I lost you for a second, but it's fine now.
Yeah. We are not like super how but I think it's kind of okay. So I wanted to go to your first big success, big SaaS. How did this started? Like, what was your need? Like, you didn't like it WordPress, or what made you started this?
It started with the HTML themes and WordPress themes I was talking about. It was a little business. We were working with my friend. And as you work more and more on websites, eventually, no matter what, every single person who creates websites came up with a website builder idea. That's a super cliche classics. Every web developer has a dream to make a website builder. And our small duet was not an exception. We wanted to create a website builder. But the problem is that my friend, he was an artist. He was a real painter, like he painted with oil paints. And he wanted to create a website builder which was intended to be used by artists. It was super creative with canvas style of editing, like animations, parallax things, unlimited possibilities, creativities. I wanted to create an opposite thing, a website builder which will be very limited, extremely limited. But in exchange, as a trade-off of the limits, it will always produce you a beautiful website. If you have a lot of possibilities, you can break things very easily. If you have just, 3 or 5 settings, it's super hard to break a website because everything is decided for you. It's pre-designed. So my way was, let's limit the user and have just a few, but really beautiful templates. My partner was about building super creative stuff, Figma-like website builder. And so we split. I said, okay, let's split right now. And he went and made his thing. I made my thing. Yeah, this is how it started. You make websites and you want a website builder. That's super obvious.
And so that's the reason how you started, and I really like this thing, because you had someone with you, and then you decided to go on your own, which is very courageous, because most of people are scared of doing that. So you decided you have to do everything by yourself. And what was the way you started to market this platform? Because you were knowing how to code, but how did you made it known by people? What was your first steps?
It's a great question. The most asked question on the interviews. People want to learn how do you grow your SaaS. And since I was an amateur marketer, an amateur startup founder, I didn't know which channels work, which don't. So I tried them all. That's obvious. When you don't know where to go, you just try every path and some of them works. So I can't say which paths worked exactly because I didn't set up analytics. So I did everything, it gave result, but I couldn't reflect on that because I didn't have analytics, because I don't like numbers and tables. But I did everything. It's listed on directories. Yeah, that I tried to install Google Analytics maybe 10 times. Because every time you open a YouTube or Twitter, and every startup expert will tell you, the first step to grow is to set up analytics. If you don't have analytics, you don't have growth. And I was like, yes, it's so smart. Yes. You can't grow if you don't know where you just come from. Yeah, let's give it another try. And I was spending 3 days staring at these Google Docs and forever changing interface. And was like, yeah, I need to do this to grow. But then it was like, what I do is not helping me. It's just analytics. It's not the growth itself. Maybe I should try some things that bring users. So I did, and it gave the result. First of all, it was building in public. Building in public brings you attention of like-minded people, IndieHackers, right? Because only IndieHackers are interested.
In public in Twitter?
Yeah, in Twitter, in IndieHackers.com, on Product Hunt, everywhere, in any place you can post your progress, you do that. That's super easy and obvious. The problem of building in public is that it gives you a lot of eyes, a lot of views, likes, reposts, friends, connections, but it gives you very little sales because indie makers don't want to buy, right? Makers like to make. That's obvious. Also, makers don't have money.
Everyone wants to do his own website builder.
Yeah, especially when you're a maker, it means you're a creative guy and you're super talented and skilled.
Yeah.
You can create your website builder. It will take you like a week maybe at most. So why do you buy one? And you also don't have money because indie makers are always empty pocketed. So you have to do it smart. What do I mean? Indie hackers, they help me to grow a lot because they are spreading your product like crazy if they like you. It means you have to promote your app across indie makers, but you don't have to rely on this as your sources of income. You want indie makers to try your tool, to spread it across the world, and then some other audience have to buy your tool. For example, companies, big companies, corporates, VC-funded startups, I don't know. You have to find it out. So in my case, indie makers was making all the buzz. They helped me with the growth, but it was bringing like 20% or less of revenue. Not too much. I made.
What was the main source?
I don't know because I don't know the analytics, but I had a lot of different guys. There was one guy who was making websites for plumbers in Australia, and he made like 50 websites for 50 plumbers. I don't know how to call this audience. A guy from Australia who make websites for plumbers, and there are a lot of such examples. Many different guys. Yeah, Indie Makers is a great channel of growth, but not as the end goal of making money, but as an audience who can help you spread the word to your product. I think it was the main source of growth, and the second is Product Hunt, but Product Hunt is now not as efficient as it was in 2018, so it doesn't really matter now to talk about this channel. So it helped to me, but it's 2024, 6 years later, it won't help to you. You have to find something else. To find, again, you have to go the way I went. Just try every possible path you see on the internet. What else? I tried paid ads when you pay Google for clicks, and it brought like nothing, absolute zero. I don't know how it works.
Me, same, yeah.
My assumption is it works on large scale. So you have to pay like thousands of dollars every month, and people see your website one time and another time, and after maybe 10 touches, they click. How many dollars have you burned?
I think this combination of two things is like you have to have budget for sure, and also you need to fucking understand this world of advertisement. And for example, for me, I hate ads. I block ads everywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't understand this at all. And if I do ads, I do it in a way I would love them, but this is not how ads works. So I'm just doing shit and trashing money.
Yeah. Yes, same here. I don't know how it works.
Yeah. But I've seen with Nico, for example, which is an expert in that, it works in some extent. If you know what you're doing, definitely that has an impact. But this is very it's another job for me. And I don't like this job, so I prefer to grow more naturally with SEO, with being listed everywhere. It's a bit harder sometimes, but prefer that way. I think everyone finds his own way to grow and set of rules he can do and not do.
Yeah, someone is good at ads, someone is good at connecting with influencers, someone is good at creating side projects. You just have to try, see what works, sort of work.
And what was the things you were good at in the marketing aspect?
I was good at making side projects. Side project is a free website, a project, an application, which is very relevant to your main project. For example, we have a landing page builder for startups, and I created a website, a side project called, it's called, let me demonstrate you. It's called UI generator. So when you create a website, you want to add some images to it, right? But since you're fresh, you're new, you don't have your application yet, you just started, you need to put something, but you don't have anything. So I created this website. It's a mock-up UI gallery. You can generate a mock-up of your future application. For example, you're working on a finance application and you're making a website, but you don't have the application because it will take you months to build and then take the screenshot, but you need the website now. So you download this pretty image and just use it. It's super valuable for our audience. And since it's free, it's really easy to push because people like free things. That's obvious. You can put it on Reddit, on Twitter, and everybody will be retweeting it and sharing to each other and bookmarking it because it's free. And you have your advertisement here. For example, here we have the mention of Unicorn platform, the link here, and also here. And it's entirely free. You can download the file, no sign up, no payments, nothing. It costs us like $5 per month to host this thing. And I calculated recently, it brought Unicorn platform nearly $20,000 by literally on autopilot. I just launched the website, a free tool, and it brought in a few years, you have 20K. If you make one free tool as successful as this one every month, you can have an extremely huge compound effect. I'm wondering why I didn't do that. Yeah, that was a mistake. I should have focused on that.
Interesting, you learned that. For your next project, you will do that for sure. That's very cool. That's, I think, something I should try more. But on my current SaaS, like CapGo, which is helping mobile apps to do like live updates, I have hard time to picture what I can do as a free tool for people building mobile apps. But I will find.
Let's brainstorm right now. It will be a great exercise. What's your application? Come again?
Let's do that an example.
Yeah, sure.
It's CapGo, capgo.app. I'm very curious about what you will think.
Yeah, let's brainstorm and come up with a few ideas. CapGo.
So to give you a bit of context, what I'm doing right now as a free tool strategy is I do plugins for Capacitor platform, which is like the platform like CapGo is a plugin already in Capacitor who help people send updates directly to the app without sending it to Apple and Google. So you bypass Google and Apple. And what I'm doing to have this kind of mindset of free tools is I create other plugins which are free and start to be used a lot. And this plugin have advertisement of CapGo. This is my main source also of people finding me by creating the plugin. But I wonder if I can have also simpler tools, because creating a plugin is a bit like time consuming, as you have to create a plugin for Android and for iOS. Each time
you created plugin of your tool, right?
No, I'm creating. So my tool is built on top on the platform named Capacitor.js, and it is a plugin already. And I am building other free plugin to create an ecosystem of plugin.
I understand.
And one is paid.
I understood. So you want your app to be working out of the box, not only for Capacitor.js, but for Flutter, for other tech, right?
That's a possibility I'm thinking. It will not work for everything. It can work for React Native, for sure. It's close, but developing it's like I've tried to pay like 1,000 euro to do that, but no one managed to do it. Like it's a huge job. But that's one of the things I want to serve other niche as well.
I understand. It's a great way.
I was saying right now, I think we can find tools for mobile app builder to like free tools like that. For example, I know something which is very popular is to do like a app screenshot tool. Yeah. This can be something who can bring a lot of traffic, because like screenshot of your app is mostly a problem. And in Capacitor, I think we have an advantage is like we could give a link, because in Capacitor you can have your website, which is the same code as your mobile app. So that means someone, like if you create a tool where you put the link of the website and you put it in mobile size, then he do screenshot for you already, like issued. So that can be like a screenshot, app screenshot for Capacitor can be something, I think, a free tool, easy to do. And people put the
You don't have to limit yourself to Capacitor only, right?
Right now, my CapGo, my system is working only for Capacitor. So if I build tools, I should like build on top of that. But in the future, I will have other platform as well. But Capacitor is already big. Yeah.
Yeah. What you're talking about, creating your application for other frameworks, is not a side project marketing. You just put your app on another distribution channels, right? So it's not the same as side project marketing. Side project is an entire separate project which has value for your audience, but it's not the product itself, right? So I can imagine a product like maybe generating these updates for your users. For example, you an app coder, a programmer, you make a lot of commits, and then you have to push it on the App Store, and you have to write the changelog, what's new, right? And you can make maybe some kind of bot which will help you to compose this update message from your commits history.
That's a good idea. I'm writing it.
Cool.
Yeah, that's something I even got people asked about, like to have a way to display the changelog. So probably displaying the changelog in the app with a feature is a feature, but also generating the changelog is something that can be nice to do. That's very interesting. Thanks for that.
Maybe sometimes you see an application which has changelog, not so boring, which just lists of changes, but somehow interesting, somehow funny. They put joke in their changelog to entertain you. Big companies used to do that. I think Duolingo is one of the examples. You can create a directory of interesting examples of such changelogs. It will take you like 0 seconds to make such a website because it's just a list of images. You can find these examples of interesting changelogs, funny changelogs of applications, and create such a board. You will have thousands and thousands of visitors across the internet. And some of them...
Yeah, definitely the directory of best changelog is even directory of best screenshot is also mobile screenshot.
Yeah, it can work too. My competitor made a side project. It's called SaaS Pages. Let me demonstrate it. My competitor, Volkan, Mr. Kaya, Volkan Kaya, he's working on Versoli. It's a website builder. And he made a great, I like his side project. It's what you said. It's a directory of beautiful screenshots. But for website. How do I find it? Here it is.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe you saw him. It's called SaaS Pages, and his side project is much more popular than his main product. He got like 2,000 upvotes on Product Hunt and crazy traffic, and it's just a list of screenshots of beautiful websites. What you said, a list of beautiful screenshots, and it's super helpful for anybody who works with websites. Same, your product is the same. It will be super helpful for people who work with applications, with publishing the applications on stores. Can make categories like
fintech. I have already done I have the scrapper for scrapping App Store already, because I did that as for sales. I realized on the App Store you have the email of each developer, because it has to be public in case you have a bug or something. So I did scrap the whole App Store, like 3 million of apps, and I got every email of every developer. And I also find I could decompile the APK of Android apps And if I decompile it, because it's a zip, I could find into the file if the app was using capacitor or not. So I have a list of email of every company in the world doing capacitor app. And so I've scraped a lot of data about the app, knowing like how many downloads they have and everything. And I have everything in a database. Right now it's a CSV because I need to host it. It's a bit big. But definitely I have the whole code to do the scrapping. So I could scrap the ISO. I think I have already the text. I have already the text. I don't have the screenshot, but I have already the text of the app. So I could do like already a directory very fast. Like in a week I can ship it.
Yeah, just find the best and show it to the world for the inspiration. People will bookmark it because it's a great directory, right?
Yeah, no, that's a very, very good idea. I think will be fun to do even. Thanks for that. That was a good example how you can build free tools.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Live on the podcast. Yeah, I agree. It's 38 minutes now, so I think we can go back to what are you building right now. There's something I want to know a bit more about. Like, so right now you're working mainly in Paracast, and I'm not sure I get exactly what he's doing. It's video for startups, like Canva for startup, right? That's what you said?
Yeah, it's a Canva for startups. I have this on my local environment right now. So you choose a template. All the templates will be for SaaS or startups only. I have this one right now. And you have this, you just enter your project's name, right? So if it's CapGo, then you upload your logotype. I don't know. Something like this. And you have a video which you don't have to edit because it's a template. And it's really fast to do. Like you just fill in a few fields and you have the video. You can change style, just basic things. And this is what I'm working on. I tried to create a few videos for myself. It was super hard. The gap between just a motion designer, just a guy who knows how to make Adobe, how to open Adobe After Effects, and a guy who can create a decent motion design video is infinite.
Huge.
And yes, it's colossal. So I think it's a big problem which I'm solving right now.
And the goal of the video is to be in the landing page, right?
Yes, landing page and social networks.
Okay. I definitely need to do that.
Make
please
a new video
release
for... Yes, I will deploy it on this week, hopefully. When you scroll your feed on Twitter, for example, you have you see images, videos, and texts. And according to Twitter's research, videos get 1,000% more views than texts. 1,000 more, it's like 10 times more. So people like videos. Videos are attractive not because they are funny. It's because we, as humans, we have to notice moving things. Because if we don't, we will be bite by a snake and die. Our ancestors have to locate those little moving things in the woods to run away. So when we scroll feed and we see something moving, we stop. It catches our attention. So I'm working on a tool which helps you to be viewed more, to be noticed more.
Okay, that's cool. There's something you shared on Twitter a bit about like the fact you sold a unicorn platform, and I wanted to talk with you originally about that. It's like, how did you felt like after you sold like your biggest project? Because like more often it's like now you could retire. So how do you find purpose again in what you're doing? And I think this is a topic like you have shared a bit about.
Yeah, sure. I can be retired because 800K is not too much. First, I got only 400K. The rest half is not cash. It's the stocks of the company which acquired me, Mars X. So it's just 400K. It's not too much. You can retire with this, I guess. I haven't invested any in stocks or ETF because I guess I'm not that smart as I used to think. I had to do that, but I didn't. So yeah,
So you just keep it in a bank account?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I think this is also something you could get maybe like someone working for you on this topic, investing your money at one point. I think this has to be done, sadly, because otherwise it just devaluate itself.
Yeah, thanks for the tip. Yeah. I tried to find a person for my project, but it's nearly impossible because it have to be a person which is familiar with code and with motion design, and such persons are unique. There are like maybe 10 or 100 of such people.
I was talking about the money things, finding someone for the money to handle it for you, since you don't know how to do this.
I never tried to think about this. Why do I have to think about this? Is it a problem? Like, yes, money are burning away, so what?
I mean, it's a problem if you believe so. Like, some people don't like the fact like they add that much and over a year it's less. But in fact, I don't know, things consume everywhere. So it could be not a problem. It's depend on you. And I don't believe you should try to think it's a problem if you don't care, you know, because otherwise it will not make sense for you.
Yeah, so people on Twitter keep saying me that I did a big mistake not investing. But if I started to invest, I would start to check this stupid account every day or maybe even every hour. It will take a lot of resource and attention. Maybe better to invest this attention on another venture.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think like this is very funny because like everyone has always an opinion on everything, but I believe we have always, you know, trade-off we choose to not care about. Like, for example, some people care about ecology, some don't. Some people care about having like clothes made properly or made with good material, and some don't care. And like, I really like this book. Is like I forgot the name, but it's like you have a limited amount of give a fuck you can give, and at one point you cannot on certain things. And for you, I think this is the same with this money. You know, you don't want to give a fuck about like making it make more money every year. You want to give a fuck more about like the project, the things you're making, your craft, and other things that are more important for you. And John has always I got John like just before you, and he was saying the same. Like, he's very bad at making the money make money, but he's very good at making project make money. And I think this is very fine. This is maybe dumb for someone which is good at making money with money, but maybe he don't do things well. Like, he's not doing his craft. He's not like, I don't know, he's taking too much pain, whatever. You cannot do everything. So it's pretty fine, I believe. If you are comfortable with your decision, that's what should matter.
Yeah, money is always a problem. If you don't have money, it's a problem. If you have money, it's a problem because they're burning away.
Yes.
Like, you can't win. The only strategy I found to myself is just don't think about money. Money doesn't exist. It works so far. I just focus on earning more, so I'm not dead, starving.
You know, that's exactly what I want to reach. I want to reach a point where I don't look 0% of the time of how much money I have in an account, and it just worked. This is my freedom. I don't want to be the slave of the money saying, oh, now I have X and I have to keep it. I just want something I know I don't have to care about, because like it pisses me off. Money pisses me off, basically. Prefer to not care about that.
Yeah. That's so stupid. Money is so useless. You can't enjoy it. You can buy love for it, but it's so meaningful for a lot of people. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just too hard to think about this.
Funnily, you know, one thing that very annoys me about money is there are some businesses, they are just built to create money on top of money. For example, I have like people I know working in trading. And trading is just about like you take an amount of money in the morning, you put it somewhere, and at the end of the day, you have more or less. And I cannot picture this for me. It doesn't make sense. I'm like, you waste your day. It's like, okay, maybe you like to do this, but I will never do that. It's impossible for me. I'm like, what the fuck? What did you create it today? Nothing. It's just, yeah, you managed to find a place where people were paying much there, and so you move the money from there to there, but okay. It's still, I feel like you could have played video game the whole day, it would be the same for me. You would be as productive.
Yeah. It's like a video game for them, but in reality, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. But that's so funny. Like, I have spent very expensive time with, I have a very close friend who is doing that as a job. And for me, it looked like a guy from another galaxy. I really love, like, he's passionate about, and he taught me many things about why sometimes this is important to have these people doing these things for money. But mostly I'm like, I still don't get it. After spending hours talking about it, I'm like, yeah, maybe I get it a bit, but still not. Okay, let's go back to my question. I think list. So definitely, I do believe you don't really, but like we both agree, like we don't want to care much about money. But you still, when you sell your product, you still think about pricing, about like optimizing revenue and stuff like that, or this is really a topic you don't care much and that work for you?
I don't have much revenue to optimize right now, so I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah, but for example, in the previous platform.
For previous, I haven't tried to optimize it. I don't even raised the plans according to inflation. It was the same price, and the new buyer, the new owner John, he bumped the prices like 3 times and nothing bad happened. He doubled the MRR without doing much, just by increasing the prices. So I just had to increase the prices, but I didn't have the balls to do that. So if you want money, you can definitely earn a lot.
Yeah, I do agree. That's very funny because like I am a bit the same as you. I mean, most of people say you should raise price, blah, 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 often. But for example, me, for CapGo, I believe CapGo should be a commodity. CapGo should be in every fucking capacitor app because it simplifies so much your process as an app builder. So my aim is not to have few clients who pay a lot. My aim is to have a whole capacitor community using it because it's super cheap and it's required. So like I'm doing the reverse of what everything is doing. Like each time I find a solution to make my platform cheaper, I do it. You know, I give more updates. I give like, I never lower the price, but I give more for the same price. And I did that like 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah, welcome to the poor life. This approach. I found.
Yeah, it can be poor, but.
Yeah, let me show you a little discussion on GitHub I found recently. It was from Superbase. I was looking for free credits of them, and their founder said that they don't have free credits and they don't plan to have cheaper plans. Their first plan is $25 per month, which is quite steep, and they were asked to make a smaller plan of, for example, $10 per month. And their founder, I trying to find that, said that we don't want
Kiwi.
We don't want to. I can't find it, but I remember it anyway. He said, "I want to add a smaller plan because I want to focus on the reach to become a rich company." So he focuses on corporate clients instead of focusing on indie makers, which have no money, obviously. He was super transparent and honest about this, huge respect, but he lost a little bit of empathy, which we had towards him, because we now know that he's about making money, which was quite obvious because he raised 80 millions on plan B and he's forced to earn money. But anyway, this is the way he thinks, like the way of making money. You are the complete entire opposite. you want to change the industry, maybe you can imagine this line and somehow try to balance on this.
Yeah. But for example, I'm not going, like many people have asked me to lower the entry price because my entry price is 14 euro, which is still expensive. And I don't want to do that because I know when you go too low in price, then you will have a lot of support and a lot of ask for people. So what I'm telling people is like, CapGo is fully open source. You don't want to pay 14 euro a month, then host it yourself. It's a super base. You have to pay 25 euro a month. Good luck with that. And so that's, I'm also like trying to build super simple solution for them if they don't want. You can have a super simple version of CapGo, which is just doing one thing, serving one update for everyone the same, because CapGo has a lot of like possibility. You can do channels, you can go like this device has this update, this users for development team has this update, blah, blah, blah. And so what I did is like, I'm trying to guide people. Like if you cannot pay for this full solution, build yourself like a tiny Cloudflare worker. We serve just one update. It's super easy to do. You do it like that and you're good to go. And you don't need to pay 14 euro a month, but you don't have all the features. And I believe that's made kind of also CapGo successful because there are many people loving the product and cannot pay. For example, in India, there are so many problems about the CDN. I'm using Cloudflare and it's fucking broken in India. I didn't know about that. And so in India, they're just like, yeah, we cannot use your product right now. So I'm trying to fix it. But meanwhile, they just fork it and host it themselves. And I really love this. Like, they support it sometimes. Like I have like 150 euro a month by GitHub support because they cannot pay. So they support me that way. And for me, that work, I don't like to see business as a rogue system. You don't have to be rogue. Like, I believe like in the world, the one who was most giving are the one who get the most back in return. In day life, it doesn't mean in money, but definitely in day life. But yeah, probably it's not a rich life. You're right.
Yeah, I'm trying to change my mindset about this. I was like you. I was an idealist. I wanted to give more. I was afraid to raise prices. I was afraid to charge for extra. But I want to shift myself from this mindset to more, if people pay for the goods I provide, it's like a normal way to tell the world, to you, that your goods are demanded. Like, you can't go to each of the users of your application, to every user of CapGo, knock at their door and say, hey, do you like it? So you find it useful? And they would say, yes, it was super useful. Thank you very much. Then you go to next door and you will spend your entire life. Instead, you just put a checkout and they send you money. And it means they take some resources away from their life and sacrifice it to you in exchange for what you give to them. Because they believe that what you give to them is more valuable than 14 euros. It's just a signal that what you do is loved and used. You can make it entirely free, but it won't really change anything, because if people pay for this, it's already a fair price. I'm trying to find this, achieve this mindset. So a transaction is fine. It's a way people say thank you. Like real thank you, not just thank you for your smile, mister, but like you really helped me. This is a part of resources I take away from my family to you, because like, guy, that was helpful. Thank you. This is I want to achieve. Charge more because it's okay.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Like charging is okay, and I have very like not much. I mean, I still have a limitation on that for sure. You have seen that. But there are also things like I'm not like scared. Like, for example, my previous mobile app, I raised the price. Like it was like €1 lifetime and it become like €20 a year as a mobile app, and it didn't change the conversion. And many people got angry because they say, oh, I got the app like 3 years ago and I didn't need to pay, and now I need to pay because I raised for everyone, even previous users. And so that has kind of vaccinated me, because I saw like on, I don't know, 600 or 800 people paying, I got like 3 or 4 saying like, oh, come on, this is unfair. We paid 3 years ago €1. And I was like, yeah, maybe if the app has changed in 3 years for €1, you could bet this is unfair for me. But yeah, I agree with that. Just, I think for CapGo, my vision is really, I want like every app to use it. Like I want that become like a website hosting, you know, like it's super cheap because everyone uses it. And I want more and more apps going into the capacitor way, because like right now for most of developers, they think, okay, if I want to do a mobile app, I need to learn Swift, I need to learn Android, I need to do 2 mobile apps code, blah, blah, blah. With Capacitor, you just take your app in React, in whatever Vue, Angular, what you like, you put it in a mobile app, and you just use few features in Plus, because most of the apps don't need really native features. So I'm really pushing like for this to happen, and I think more makers, more people could build apps. You see, it's super simple. It's like basically you have a website. If you can build it statically, you can build a mobile app with it. It's like it's dead simple, and that is something the guy from Ionic built, and it's amazing. Like there are many apps on the App Store. I think there are 6,000 or 8,000 apps using that, and sometimes you don't know. Like for example, if you like to go on vacation and to rent boat, one of the biggest app for that, it's named Click and Boat, and it's Capacitor app. Kick.com is a Capacitor app. It's the second bigger like live stream platform in the world. They are going to do native now because they have start to have a bigger team and stuff, but they started that way. And there are many apps like that. Like Burger King in Australia is the app is Capacitor. So many apps. When it's not your main business to do mobile, like if you're not Snapchat, for example.
Maybe you could just join their team and offer their help with creating plugins, and CapGo would be only one of them.
The Capacitor team, you mean?
Yeah, I like it so much. Why not?
Yeah, first they should forgive me because they have also a business concurrent of mine, and when I started to do this business, because they do it for the expensive world, they do it for corporate, super expensive, and I was complaining about that on GitHub, like everyone, many makers were complaining about like we don't have a cheap way to do live update. And they were like, yeah, we're just like Superbase. We just want to serve big corporate because this is good money. Each client is 2,500 minimum a month. So it's super easy. And now since the whole company is built around this, you cannot serve tiny businesses. It doesn't make sense. Like when you get €20 a month, you're like, yeah, how do I pay my sales with that? How do I pay my customer success and everything?
Yeah.
So they say that they can't. And I say to them, like, can I build it? Can I build it for the makers? And they say, yeah, of course. So I was like, amazing. So I started building it, publish it. People got super happy about it. At the beginning, it was even free because I couldn't do the Stripe configuration at the beginning. I just like ship it like broken and do it yourself. But I just wanted to try if I could make it because it was complex to understand the thing. And I made it. And then they saw me, they saw I put pricing and everything, and they started to be like friend with me. At the beginning it was super nice. And I asked them like, can we be more friend? Like maybe you recommend me for the makers and I recommend you for the big corporate and we find an agreement. They were like, yeah, for now you're just early, so wait a bit. And a year has passed and I think they a bit forgot and I didn't, I just was talking with them in Twitter. And at one point, I created an article, SEO article from another maker. And so I just used ChatGPT to rework his article, change a few things and publish it on my blog. And it was not from them, it was from another person in the community. And just after that, they sent me a message, hey, we should talk. I was like, oh, amazing. They finally want to talk and find an agreement together. And they call me and they say, you're a bad person. You're like doing stalling content. Where I credited the guy. In the article, I credited the guy. I said, this article is from Simon. I just used ChatGPT to rewrite it and change a few things in it because I have a different vision. And yeah, so they told me literally I was a bad person doing that, and they banned me from everything, like they Discord, they Twitter, GitHub. Yeah, I was the second person building the most of things in the platform, and they banned me. And since then, there are still like some people in the company are angry about me, some are friendly, but until now I am banned, so I cannot work with them. I would like to.
So unfair. I will ask them to unban you.
I think I understand because, yeah,
I don't know how.
Could be nice. But definitely the thing is, they have a concurrent business and they feel, I think, threatened by me. And I was not like, I'm not a person who asks permission. So I've done many things. Like I find the email of people in their Slack and I contacted people to not do advertisement for my company, but just to ask people if I can build free plugins for them. And then they will know me, And so some people didn't like that because in my signature in the email, it was like Martin from CapGo. I don't even saw, I put the signature, it's like by default in Gmail. And so yeah, I made some people angry and then they were like, yeah, we have to ban you. I was like, yeah, maybe we should have talked before that. I ask for instead of just coming and like, oh, you're a bad person. You're doing things you're not allowed. I'm like, yeah, I've asked you before doing anything. So what is allowed? And no one answer. So I find my way. Okay.
That's weird.
But yeah, I mean, at the beginning, I was very angry from that because like I love this company since many years. Like the first app I've built was with this thing. But at one point, you're literally writing it right now. I can see. Thanks. I think at one point I understood they protect their business the best they could, and sometimes this is not like perfect and it doesn't make sense, but definitely, yeah, I have understanding for them. And at one point, maybe they will. CapGo is with a C, not a K, just in case.
Like what? Like this?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Because of a mistake. Thanks. Let me see if we care about the community, we have to reply.
Let's see.
You can just ignore.
I'm curious about that. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so right now I cannot work with them for this reason, but I believe still at one point they could buy my company because they could be something useful for them. That's also scary, like since they control the whole ecosystem, they could do things against me, but they are not doing it, at least because I think the developers of Capacitor, I have support from them. It's just the leaders, I don't have support and don't like me. But developers like me because I am the second biggest plugin maker in the world for them. So I help them to make the project more successful for free. Oh yeah, that's a story, which is funny for me. But that has, I think that gave me motivation. When I got banned, I was like, I will prove them they're wrong.
Yeah, it could work.
Yeah. Coming back to you again, because we talk a bit about me. What are you like? Do you have other things you want to build in the future? You have in your track list, or these two projects are currently the main things you want to build?
You mean the internet projects?
Or maybe you have other projects? I don't know.
Yeah, I want to build a village with John Rush. He has been talking about this on Twitter a lot.
Yes.
We plan to go to Portugal.
You were on the project too.
It's not official. We just talked about this a lot. We meet in person every year, a couple of times. And I really want to build it and live like, like our grandfathers lived in a small community, making everything with your hands. This is my main project and my dream. That's funny that you have to work a lot and earn a lot of money to live a life of
Yes.
a regular guy a few centuries ago. That's weird. Anyway, this is my main project. I haven't started it yet, but it's my goal for the next 10 years. As for the internet things, I'm also working on the acquire.com competitor. It's called acquire.website. And
Okay.
I don't know if you see it.
Do you know for the village, I'm doing the same, by the way. I have a
Really?
land here in Madeira. I'm building with 3 makers, and we starting the process already. Yes.
Wow, how many people do you
Yeah,
have?
we had a talk about that with John, and so right now the step is we do the topography of the land, because we have a big land of 14,000 square meters, and so we're doing the topography, and the next step is to go with the architect to the CTO to propose the project and see if it's accepted or not. So we're waiting for that topography to finish.
God, cool! That's amazing. Madeira is beautiful.
Yes, and I told John to come to visit Madeira, because Madeira is such a nice place to build this kind of project, since it's like kind of spring all year long, so it's never cold, never too hot. It's like very green, so you're welcome to visit if you want. I can show you the land.
Yeah, I have to. Wow, cool. Do you have some kind of followers, or I don't know, who investors?
No, so we are 5 founders, and 2 of them are crypto guys. So they made very good money in crypto. And the project is Naturopia, the name. And the idea is not about makers. It's more in general, we want to create a community where people live in a way which is more close to nature. So we don't want to have like concrete building. We want like natural ground building, built naturally by hands and stuff like that. So it will be mainly domes, and so that will make us like not spending a lot in construction, and make the construction pretty self-sustainable, because the way we build will make it no need to AC, have a lot of natural light and stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah,
we should be neighbors. 2 villages. Cool.
Yes. We have other land next to our land we can buy. We are thinking to buy. So if you want to buy another one, I can send you the directly.
How much is that?
Contact.
Like millions or thousands?
The lands, the 14,000, we got it for 180,000. And
180 million?
It's like 5 million. No, not million. 180,000 euros.
180. Well, that's not much. Quite affordable.
Yeah.
I can buy it.
Because it's a forest agriculture land, so we need to build only like there are some limitation in the land. That's why it's cheap.
You can live there all year long?
No, that's what we are doing with the Camara. Like the Camara is the name of city hall in Portuguese. So we have to negotiate with the city hall what we want to build, because it's not usual in Portugal to do natural building and stuff like that. So we are trying to make it legalized for the activity we want, because right now in the land you can only do short-term tourism or agriculture, but not live there fully. So we are trying to find a path to make it like livable. And this is a Cob house.
This is how nice. Your house feel like. Supernatural.
Yeah, if you want to search the technique we want to use is to, the name is Super Adobe. Super Adobe is the main technique we're thinking to use. And, and otherwise we are searching.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
You're searching.
This is the house.
Oh, nice. It's like a desert.
And it's often built in desert. You can find a lot in Morocco, for example, or in Mexico. And so we went to Mexico to learn the technique. So we know already how to build that all by yourself. Yeah. And next month, so we're going to do a workshop to learn how to do earthship, which is a different kind of house built with the ground, because we need to know like what's the best for our land. So we need a few different techniques. And we will also teach in our land people how to build this kind of house by themselves, because it's pretty easy and doesn't take much money since you get the ground off your land. It's like you can build one for less than 20K.
Super cool. I want such thing.
That's funny. Like we are very, like I see more and more people having this same dream of like building a village for themselves and not living in the city anymore.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yes, it's a big trend.
Yeah, definitely. But it makes sense. Like we don't want to have this life anymore. We're slaves. Okay, I think we're gonna go to my finishing question. Thanks for your time. I really enjoyed this podcast with you.
Too.
I think that one question we didn't cover, but you talk a bit about the beginning, is like, why did you went indie maker? Why you didn't raise money or didn't become an employee? What was in you? You said it was not for you, but why?
Because it adds a lot of complexity. I tried to go to Portugal as a startup. I applied the startup visa, and I applied to accelerator, and I was accepted to one accelerator. It's called Demium. It was like top one accelerator in Lisbon. And it took me so much effort to just do the papers. You have to fill in 1,000 forms. And why do you want to build this? Why do you want to build it in Portugal? How do you plan to hire 10 Portuguese people? I don't have a plan to hire 10 Portuguese people. I don't know. Just let me build the thing. How can I plan my startup for 5 years ahead if things are changing fast? It's startup. It's not a regular business. And you have to, I spent 10 grants, 10,000 euros to an agency which helped me with these stupid papers. It took us many months to fill in. I had to have a lot of calls with them and negotiate a lot. And it was just the first step. After I arrived to Portugal, if I would choose this VC way, I would have to fill in 10 more papers. I would have to establish a company there, papers, bank accounts, taxes, income, blah, blah, blah. And then I would have to raise more funds because accelerator invests in you not because you're cool, but because they want return. So I would have to do some kind of demo day and work on things that investors like. And I talk a lot about papers and investors, but it's not related to users. That's not fun. I have a friend. He went to the USA. He raised he raised $500,000 a few months ago. And he has a full-time job of talking to his investor. And he had a lot of meetings, and now he had to find another investor to make this investor happy. And it's a full-time job. I don't know how he manages to manage his team and do this, but I read that raising money is a full-time job. It's an entire job of going to meetings, talking, negotiating, making pitch deck, dozens of pitch decks for different occasions. And for what? Like, to what? Okay, I would understand if I have to do something, but if this something is a decent goal, but the goal of raising funds is to what? To scale fast? Why do I need to scale fast? I can scale slow, nothing would change. To what? To raise capital, to hire a huge team? I don't need a team. I can go alone or hire maybe a couple of people. I don't need VC for that. To earn a shit ton of cash? But why do I need a shit ton of cash? To do what? To buy a Lamborghini? Maybe if I was a fan of Lamborghini, I would do that, but I'm not fan of. So what? Why do I do this? Because everybody does. That makes sense, but that was never a way to be happy to do what the crowd does. So you have to think what you do. So why? I don't understand. No one tells why.
I agree.
If I would be making some kind of high-tech thing like AI, and I would need a lot of capital to invest in CPUs or in GPUs, that would make sense. I would need millions or even billions. I don't have such sum. But otherwise, there is no need to raise money. I believe it's a bad decision in most cases.
I agree with you. Like if you have R&D, like research, and like you need like money to do this. But if it's just money to put in the advertisement and sales, for me, it doesn't make much sense. You trade your freedom for not a good result. Well, it depends for, like, I believe like everyone has his own tastes, but definitely for me, this is a very, very bad decision. I've done that in the past and I've regretted it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, like when you start to have investors, they start to want you to make things. And the first company I've joined, I was a first developer, and the investor were keep asking stupid things to do. And we were just pleasing them instead of making things great for users. And at one point I was like, that doesn't make sense. We have users, they are paying, they are getting money, they're things, then we have an impact. And then the VC is asking us to do something in reverse because he wants money. He wants to 10x his money. And you're like,
Yeah, and you can't say no because this VC will go and say everybody that you're a bad guy.
Yeah, you're out of your company, basically, and that has happened in many companies.
You're in your company? They outed you?
No. I outed myself.
Nice.
Basically, I knew like we were having, when you get the first investor, this is just a loop of having more investment. You cannot stop. It's very hard. So when we saw we were needing more investment, and I didn't want that, I just, okay, I will get out myself and I will let you grow the direction we have started because we cannot go back. And I don't want to crush the company. But yeah, that was...
So we bought your stocks or what? Or you just left?
No, what I've done is I left before we managed to raise again. So the point was like, if I buy my stocks now back, it will be a super bad signal for investors. So the goal was like, I've locked my stocks in the company for a certain time. I don't remember, 5 years, something like that. And the idea is they raise and everything, and then I will be able to get out at one point, not at the new valuation because otherwise it will be too big, but at the previous one, and they are okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's like I really believe in them. They should exist. So I'm not like reaching to have the maximum value possible, even if I created that at the beginning. I just want them to thrive and have a bit of something of it at the end. So we will see how things are going.
Nice. Good luck.
Okay. Yes. Let's see what's the future is saying. Now, I would like to know if you have a quote or something you like to repeat yourself. Often it's not like very famous quote for me I'm interested in, but something you really like. As a mantra, I would say more.
Yeah. I don't remember quotes. If you make a tweet, I will try to recall one and attach it to this, but I don't remember it. It's super hard to me to instantly
no problem.
Like or someone asks me what's your favorite book or a movie, and it just turns my brain into a brick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
As an example, for me, I have things I repeat myself often. Like for example, I really like to say myself, no one is bad. Like I tell myself very often this, like, there are no bad people. There are no bad people. Even people that are doing bad things, they are not bad people. Because I really want to shape my vision of the world as people are doing great. And sometimes they do mistakes, for sure. But people are trying to do the best, always. That's something I repeat myself. It's not really a quote. It's something I really want to imprint. Because like I see so often like people believe like, oh, there are people like they are stealers, there are people bad, and then you start to be scary around you. Like and for me it takes a lot of energy to just be scary about everything. So I do want to believe in a world where it's like a little heaven and everyone is like a nice person. And in a way I think that I do attract then good people. So yeah, that's this kind of sentence. If you have things like that works as well. It's not really a quote. It's more like a belief you repeat yourself often.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Believing in good, in people. Yeah. I think the good way of doing this is not tagging people. Like someone, I see a lot of people on Twitter when they reply, they call people, for example, spammers. Like I have a lot of DMs with offers, and people say, those are spammers. I was like, those are not spammers. Those are guys who are trying to sell, right? They're not doing... Spam is a bad thing. Yeah. If you call someone a spammer, you call someone a bad person. But those are not bad persons. They just try to push their things. More than that, they are makers too, just like you. So you have to understand this. Yeah. It's super obvious to you. Guy reaches out and tries to push your thing. It's not a spam. Maybe it's a spam, but you don't have to call them spammers. I often reply to every spam. I don't call it spam. I called it cold outreach, and often this cold outreach is bad, like weird. People say bullshit marketing things and don't read even my name. It just pitch. I tell them, sorry, I'm not interested. Or I ask questions like, why do you want me to buy this? And they start to think, maybe we can have a conversation. But yeah, I don't like when people say, those are spammers. Those are people who are trying to reach you. And this can be applied to everything. Those are not, I don't know, if someone is charging you more for taxi, you don't call them thieves. You call them people who try and, I don't know. That's...
Yeah, but you don't call them. No, but I agree. I'm doing that in my relationship with close people, but definitely on internet should be the same. Like I've seen that with Mark lately. We got called like so many bad names because he's just doing things. He's just doing things, and now at the scale he's doing, people get mad at him. But yeah, he's just grinding, and he was grinding for years, and no one's care. Now everyone care because it's like known and make more money, which is funny. But yeah, I agree with you. Like not naming people and not defining people is a nice thing. It's super important with kids, by the way. To not tell them kids? They're like, no, but I'm thinking too. And I've read about that, and this is like very important to not tell them like, for example, a very simple example is like don't tell them they're stupid or stuff like that and things, because then they will feel stupid. But in many ways, like it's something that shouldn't be done. Okay, now a question for me is who I should invite after you in this podcast.
I was hoping to say John Rush, since you had him.
Yes.
And once again, my brain turned into a brick. Let me open the Twitter I have.
No problem. You have time. But I think I will invite John a second time because like we spent 2 hours something talking and we were still having a lot of things to talk about. Okay.
Yeah, so he can sit tight for hours and talk. Our longest talk with him was 4 hours and 34 seconds. 4 hours.
Wow.
For 34 minutes. Yeah, almost 5 hours. I wanted to go on actually to see if there's an end, but we had to say goodbye. Who I should invite? Oh, maybe you can invite Dan. Dan. Dan, the creator of Shipixen.
What did you say?
You could invite Dan. Dan, the creator of Shipixen.
Yeah,
no, not Kulkov.
Shipixen is a different one.
I forgot his surname. 1 second, please. It's so hard to navigate here. Dan.
Yes.
This bearded one here. The Dan with the beard.
Yeah. Yes. I think maybe it's Plan, but that's cool. I will vote his name. I think we planned it.
If you did, it's great. He runs a show, so he's funny to talk and easy to talk, and he would love to be here too.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. And last question is for you. Where do we send the makers who are interested to know more about you?
Twitter. You can find me on Twitter.
Yes. Well, I believe I knew the answer. Okay.
I also do
Your
YouTube. I forgot.
Twitter name will be.
Let
Oh yeah.
let me pitch my YouTube. I'm really active there. I make videos, and it take a lot of effort. If you
Okay,
ever
cool.
planned to start a YouTube channel, try to think twice because it takes so much effort. Be sure to leave an entire day for
Yeah,
this every week because it's so much time to make one video.
I'm
Those
doing
are
it
videos.
with the podcast, but I will not do video as you do. Like it's super hard.
Yes, it's so much work. It just looks easy. You record a talk with a guy, then you upload it, bam. You just have to think about the title. But there's so much work under the hood. Takes hours and hours, endless hours.
I agree. Okay, so both link will be on the description of the podcast. If you're interested, guys, you just need to go in the description and click to get the YouTube video of Alexander or the Twitter. Thanks a lot for your time, Alexander. If the people who have listened us until now enjoyed, I suggest you to send us a message, say thank you, whatever, to Alexander or me. It's always nice to see like you have listened till the end and enjoyed the episode. And yeah, I think that's it. See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Merci beaucoup, Martin. Thank you for having me. And if you listen to this, guys,
Yes.
please spend 5 seconds of your precious time and go to the podcast platform where you are listening to this and put 5 stars to Martin because he is doing a colossal job for you. You can't imagine how much effort it takes. So please just put 5 and say thank you in the review. It would give a huge benefit to him. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for that. I was doing like asking that in the French podcast, but I totally forgot in the English one. But you're right. That's very important. Rate the podcast, please, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.